Hey Soul Fam, this is Lisa-Issa with Charmed Lithomancy. Just wanted to give you a heads up that I had just a tiny bit of technical difficulties, so please bear with me as I work everything out. So without further ado, let's get to it. So Capricorn, your center stone card is, believe it or not, it's Saturn. And so, as you know, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And it's pretty interesting because you are one of two signs where the stone card was their planet that they are associated with. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is also the base to your reading. It is your center stone card. And so you'll probably know all the things I'm about to share with you in that. But there's a chance I might share something new and different with you. So when I think about Saturn, I have to admit, Saturn, when it shows up in my personal reading, I'm not always a happy camper. In the past, I was not always pleased to see Saturn show up. However, although Saturn is about restrictions, laws, responsibility, rules, regulations, and the all famous because I said so. When you ask your mom, well, why do I have to do XYZ? Because I said so. That's Saturn. Sometimes Saturn asks us to work harder and not smarter. It's sometimes about societal norms, and to go with it because that's the way it's always been done. Those are the rules. The very positive side to Saturn for me, because I have a stellium in Virgo, which means I have a whole lot of Virgo in my chart. Saturn calls me, when I see it show up in my reading, it calls for structure. So that's the energy that it holds for everyone's reading. But for me, when I see it, I'm okay with structure. So the Virgo in me says, okay, structure, I can do that. So that means that I'm a Leo sun. So that means that, the Leo is all about play. And when Saturn shows up, it's like, okay, let's get a little structured here. So I'm cool with Saturn. So Saturn, as I've shared, is your base card at the root of your reading. And so your first card is the house card. However, it's in reverse. So the energy of that card is, so the house card is about domestic matters. And that is, your home where you live, your neighborhood, the folks inside your home, your partner, maybe your parents, maybe your children. It's friends. So friends and family and house. All of those things, fall in that under that domestic bubble of that house card. Your next card is the school bus. So I have to say a lot of cards have been repeating today. And of course, for me, that means that message is a collective message. So anyone who feels drawn to this particular channel, this is a reading, or those particular cards have a meaning for all of us. However, the house card has come up almost more than I can count, but the school bus hasn't shown up yet today. And so the school bus, originally when I added the charm to my collection, it was about spiritual growth. So over time, it has blossomed a little more. And it feels also like learning, higher learning. You could be taking courses. You could be going back to college. It's learning in some way, shape, or form. Last year in 2020, believe it or not, on occasion, it really meant, on more than one occasion, it meant literal travel. And on one occasion, it actually meant caravan. So I know here in the States, we usually don't use the term caravan. We will use the term RV or trailer, but it showed up in a young lady's reading, and she had just moved into a caravan. And so that's how it showed up in her reading. So that's the energy of the school bus. On the other side of the Saturn card is the anchor. So the anchor is, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's the things in our lives that anchor us. And it usually is like home, your work, your friends and family. Those are the things in our lives that anchor us. So it's not a good or a bad, it just is. You can love that job or you can not like the job. But the fact that you spend a lot of time there or you put a lot of energy there, it is the thing that supplies you with the resources, to live the life that you live. Most times, it's an anchor in your life, whether you love the job or hate the job. And then your last card is the star card. So let me go back to the anchor. It is in reverse, and when this particular card is in reverse, it means that something is the opposite of anchoring you, or in other words, you feel unanchored. You feel maybe a little adrift. Something that used to be like a mainstay for you, something has shifted with that. So, Capricorn, your last card is the stars card in reverse. So the stars card, I don't know why I'm having problems with that word today. The stars card situation, you've gone from, having your own place, you moved in with some friends or you moved in with family. There's a chance you may have lost your home. And the anchor says that whatever happened or is happening it's really shaking you up, and it feels like you're also in transition. The bus speaks of movement, transition, that type of thing. That's the energy that it holds right now. And it could mean, and the stars to me could mean and feel like you've gone from maybe living alone to living with, a lot of people, but you would prefer to live alone. Is how it feels at this time. And so Saturn says to get the thing you desire, which feels like to go from things being very turbulent and you not feeling very anchored, that you are going to need to put some structure to planning how to get to the life that you desire or the thing that you desire in regards to the domestic situation. I really am not one for, you probably won't see me doing love readings, but never say never. But what I kind of heard with the stars, somewhere there may be a third party situation with the stars. There was more than one. Maybe you might have had more than one person, or your partner may have had more than one person in their lives. But in some way you're being asked to just have one, and that caused some turmoil in the relationship. So if that's the case, that could be one of the things that the cards is sharing. But the bottom line is whether it is a third party situation in regards to the domestic situation, or just really not, your domestic situation just doesn't, it's really not working for you, and when I say working for you, it doesn't mean that, when you have food, clothing, shelter, those are the basics. And a lot of times people, will say, well, if you have that, then, really you don't have anything to complain about. However, we all prefer and feel all, have a living environment that resonates with us, because that's where we feel the best. That's when we shine the most. Saturn could be asking us to look at it differently, and when I think structure, it is to take time to plan out something different. So if you want to move, or you would prefer things to look differently, you're really going to have to put a plan in place. And that to me is the base of everything. And not that it's going to change overnight, because it may take you a while for the plan to, so you may be able to put it in place, but it may take a while for you to actually meet all of the milestones and do all the things that's necessary for that domestic situation to be more to your liking. Situation with a lot of other people, and because most of the time it's use that divine masculine and divine feminine energy to manifest what you desire. We always talk about the action of it. So some people might say, well, get a job, get another job, and we know the job situation is a little, it's a little tricky at the moment. People might say, well, find somewhere else to live, or kick the personality, if they're cheating, or, there could be a number of things. But Saturn is saying, come up with a plan that's going to help you make that transition. And so, like I said, so the divine masculine is all those action things to do. That's very external. But then is the divine feminine side, the more internal side. And so our more spiritual and intuitive. So I always think that your partner is part of the dilemma you have. You may not be ready to speak to them about it, but you can't always create, if you can't create a vision board that needs to go up, or you can always create those things and do digital vision boards that you can put on your phone. You can do meditations, you can do visualizations, and those are things that are or not as ways, and then the other side is more feminine, internal, spiritual ways that many people would not know that you're doing. A lot of times when you are able to manifest something, and people will see your glory, they will see the things that you manifested, but they don't know all the things that you have done to bring that thing to you. So you do your divine masculine work, which the action steps to a thing, and then the divine feminine, the more spiritual, the visualization. The visualization is really one of my favorites, where you will see, feel, envision it the way you would prefer. And you take those two, and that's where you've done your diligence, and you hand over to the universe. You allow the universe then to coordinate things into place. But we always have to do our work first. All right, Cap. And so for you, the universe is saying, create a plan. You might need to be a little bit more structured with finding a way to maneuver this domestic situation that has left you a little so I hope that was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, shine bright. Namaste.